How is it going, YouTube? Malagant here. Welcome to another chill down. It's been some time, about like a month or something. This one we are going to be chatting about leveling, well, speed leveling. At the same time, I think I'm going to be talking about like, for the most part, I think I want to talk about like what sort of preparation you can make when it comes to like the secondary character that you open in this game. We know all about like the experience potions and the Lokar set and whatnot. I'll be basically like listing these things that I do prepare for when I'm going to be leveling up a new character. So this speed leveling is going to be mostly for like the secondary class or like the third class that you're opening, or third character that you're opening. Not necessarily that friendly when it comes to like the first character that you will level, because that could be fixable by pathing better, questing better, and then like maybe switching into the next difficulty faster. But the preparation part that we're going to be talking about is going to be completely missing from like a new account, let's say. um that being said, like the first thing that I'll mention, as you can imagine, is going to be like the experience potions. We have talked about them like multiple times in several different like videos. They're coming, like this is going to be like the first thing, in my opinion, like the biggest impact when it comes to like speed leveling your new character. So you go to like Malmus resistance right over here, uh, buy the experience potion from them, as many as you kind of need, that you think is quite expensive. In fact, like try to, it's about like 40k if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 40k iron bits. Yeah, try to not waste these. They're quite pricey. So this is one of the ones, yeah, that you need to like you know get prepared before like opening a new character to put into the bank and then like take it out with a new character. And you will always be using this. It's not dispellable anymore, so arcane monsters won't be able to like interact with this. It's giving you like 100% increase experience gain for, in fact, 1 hour. Now, the secondary thing that I'll mention is that, like, before that, actually, like, just a very tiny little bit talk about, like, Mammoth resistance, how to get, like, revered with them. Just a small tip about it is the fact that, like, with the Mammoth resistance, try to get honored, especially if, like, if it's your first character, try to get honored, um, in the normal difficulty. Because if you can do that, this woman right over here, I think her name is Corinia. Yeah, she's going to be giving you an extra quest, and that extra quest is like a last quest of the entire series. So it's gonna like reward you with a hefty amount of reputation, in fact. Definitely. The next thing that I'll mention is the Lokar set. You probably have seen it before that I'm using. Unlike this potion, it's not 100%, it's about like 40%, I think, and it's additive on top of this 100%, I think. So it's not multiplicative in between. It's not the biggest deal, but it definitely makes a big difference, as you can imagine. The Lokar set is found by, in fact, farming Lokar, which is one of the super bosses in this game. Super bosses are incredibly hard. Lokar is maybe arguably the easier one of the ones that are available to you. So how do you see the Lokar? You can go to like Rim Tools, you can go to one's database, and from there you can select like super boss from here, and you can find Lokar on this list, which is almost all the way on the bottom. So this guy right over here, you can check like his stats, you can check what he's doing, and try to like, if you're gonna like go ahead and kill this guy, or try to take him on, um, I would definitely suggest you to like check out like what he's capable of doing on this list, especially what type of attack, is it physical, is it fire, etc. You could definitely turn your character a little bit tankier against him, and for the most part, Lokar is sort of like a gear check. If you can survive him in the long run, I think you'll be able to kill him too. Definitely. So he's capable of dropping every single run. He will be dropping one of these pieces, and 4 pieces uniting to make the entire set, which is in fact giving you 40% increase experience gain, +1 tool skills, a little bit of like HP, a little bit of resistances here and there. The only negative part about this is that like this entire set, none of the pieces have any armor whatsoever. So it's getting very risky to continue use this, especially in a hardcore. Um, it's very risky. Around like level 60 it starts becoming a little bit questionable. In fact, what you could do if you would like to continue with Lokar all the way, Um, some mastery combinations are definitely a lot easier to do this, uh, compared to some others. Some squishy ones, for instance, like Arcanist, Nightblade, stuff like that, will definitely have a lot harder time to continue with Lokar, come like level 70, 80, compared to something like, an Oathkeeper, a Soldier, maybe like a Shaman. Definitely, they are going to be having a little bit easier time. Um, but what you could do is like you could shape your devotions around the fact that like it will give you more armor, especially flat values, and thanks to that you might be able to overcome this. Definitely, this is the secondary thing that I'm going to mention. So you have your potion of clarities boats, you're putting them into the shared stash tab. Same goes for the Lokar set, you put those over there as well. And then another part is obviously the mandates. As usual, you're going to be buying 12 mandates. There are 12 factions in this game. In this case, enemies with the Barrow Home, but like there's going to be 1, 2, 3, and you get the idea. So you would like to buy all these 12 mandates and put them into the stash tab as well, so that like you learn, um you use these mandates with the new character, and then you're going to be gaining much more speedy leveling over there as well. um the next thing that I'm going to mention is in fact going to be in the Conclave of 3, and it's going to be the Savior's Merit. This is actually like biggest part of this video in my opinion. This is the main thing that I wanted to talk about, but since the other stuff that I've already said were so big, we kind of like had to build up to this. So Savior's Merit is something, a lot of people have been asking me about like this, how do you have the waypoints? You're like level 1, how do you have the waypoints in normal? Um, how is ultimate unlocked and stuff like that. This is the item. You need to be in the ultimate difficulty. You need to, if I'm not mistaken, you gotta like finish the game. And then afterwards, this guy right over here, right next to the blacksmith in Conclave of 3, he's going to be capable of like selling these merits. And in fact, you can definitely use these on a new character. I think you need to be in the campaign. On a new character, you can use this, and as you use it, as you can read it, it's going to be unlocking the ultimate difficulty. It's going to give you all the inventory space. It's going to give you every single waypoint in both normal and elite. It's going to give you like skill and attribute bonuses from the quests that you would have gotten if you have done the normal and elite difficulty as well. So it's basically like making the normal and elite obsolete, other than devotion shrines, and we are going to be coming into that shortly. One thing that I forgot to mention about the preparation is that you can come to this, the Bismail. This is like my favorite one, but 2 mobility components are available from like every single quartermaster in this conclave. You should definitely check them out. But I think this is my favorite simply because like the Shadow Strike, this is basically Shadow Strike, the Vanish. You could buy this and you could actually like put this into the bank as well, and then use it on the new character starting from level 15, and then any sort of character that you're playing is going to have the Shadow Strike as long as you have a melee weapon. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be using like a rifle, a crossbow, or maybe, I don't necessarily know, maybe something else, you won't be able to like use this. In that case, you're gonna need to like buy one of the other components from maybe this guy or maybe from this guy as well. Just check them out, whichever one that you would like to use as like a mobility item. Definitely, it speeds up the leveling process big time, you guys. So back to the Savior's Merit. We're gonna come over here, go to the bank, and we have like our experience potion. Let's assume that like I have my Lokar set over here as well. It's on my warlord right now because I'm in the process of leveling him up. But let's put this over here, and let's put the Savior's Merit right next to it as well. Go create a new character. So one thing that you can do, guys, is that like when you jump into the campaign, you're gonna need to like do a quest to be able to open the bank, because like that part of the Devil's Crossing is kind of like locked in. But instead you could go to like Crucible, and in the Crucible you can like access to the blacksmith, you can access to the bank, immediately without doing anything. You can just like stay level 1 and you can get this preparation done pretty much with this character before jumping into the actual game. So that is what I like to do. A lot of my like 1 to 50 and stuff like that videos are, you know, starting with this part. Some of them has it in them and some of them they don't really. So let's take these 2 items, logout, and then we go to the normal, just normal campaign. So right over here, we're gonna use the experience portion, we're gonna use the merits, and the merits is going to be unlocking every single waypoint. It's gonna unlock like every single, you know, expansion, tag expansion, inventory space expansion, and then we will also have, you know, the ultimate difficulty and then the extra attributes as well. As I level up right now, I cannot open my skill window, but I'm gonna have like extra skill points as well. So at this point, what do we do? What is the preparation that is continuing? We are going to be basically collecting lore notes. This is what I have been doing. There's going to be 6 lore notes in Conclave that is gonna give you almost level 15 or something, and I'm not even kidding, but just reading them. It is important that like you need to have, before, you know, reading them, you need to have experience potion popped up. That is very important because you can only read them once, and the experience difference is going to be obviously massive, and you would like it to be, you know, as much as possible, definitely. So those 4 that we have collected, they're very easy to find, as you can see, but one thing that I'm going to show you that I learned today is that like this Drig's quartermaster, right behind him, there's a door that you can click. And inside this ways, there's going to be 1 more, so that's the 5th one. And there are going to be 6 of them, so we cross this small bridge, get that Covenant lore note as well. The next place that we're gonna go to is going to be in the Vanguard. There's going to be just 1 lore note over there, right over here. The next one is going to be in the Coven's Refuge. Right over here, I'll make my minimap a little bit bigger so that you can see it easier. So right over here, right next to these 2 NPCs, there's going to be a box. It will have the diary. And towards like the northeast side, behind the cauldron, next to the tree, we go up. And then there's going to be this box that will have the other lore note. The next one we will go to Barrowhome. There are more. There are more. So yeah, this is our basically preparation period. We didn't necessarily like start leveling yet. You could definitely do this at the very start as level 1. As you enter Barrowhome, it is the 2nd house on the right. This house is going to be the house of the chef. And then on the main road, once again, it is going to be the last house to the left. So, there's obviously lore notes right over here as well. You kind of need to like, you know, turn your camera just a tiny bit to see it a little bit easier. But you can pick it up from, you know, low ground over here. You don't necessarily need to be inside the prison. I don't necessarily know why. At this point, you actually like want to use all of them. That's gonna give you a lot of levels. As you can see, we are 14.5 and I don't even have the Lokar set. With the Lokar set, it gives you about like, I wanna say about like level 16. There's 1 more that you can pick. But for this one, as I said, like you kinda need to pay a little bit of attention to like your pathing, and at the same time you kinda need to pay a little bit of attention to your level as well. Don't come here at level 1. 14 is definitely a little bit easier. Maybe like spend your attribute points so that like you have a little bit more HP. We can select soldier as well. and then it's on the northwest, basically, from the waypoint, right over there. Sometimes a couple of monsters over there that could attack you, but they're like always downstairs from here, so they're gonna have like some sort of like a way to come towards you. And then after picking the nodes up, you can just you can press your map, you can click the world map, and then TP somewhere safe. But remember to not TP to something like Fort Icon. I have done that before. It doesn't end well. So at this point, after all this, you're about like level 16. This is like a good preparation side of things, in my opinion. It's extremely easy, and this, head start is making the game like so much easier to jump into, and obviously, cutting a lot of time that you would have spent otherwise. Now, what did we do? We bought some experience potions. We have the Lokar set, and we have mandates. We have the mobility components that we can definitely buy with another character and then put it into the shed, stash that. And then afterwards, we buy the Savior's Merit. We open the game, gather all that from the Crucible bank into this character, learn all the mandates and whatnot. And then afterwards inside the game, use the Savior's Merit. All the waypoints unlocked. And then we collect the lore nodes. So far, that is all we have done for the preparation to, start speed leveling. From this moment, I'll be telling you like what I have been doing when it comes to like continuation from here and how to get to like level 100. And you can pretty much like decide what you would like to do, because I think at this point it kind of depends on like the playstyle. It kind of depends on like what you want to do from your character. Like for instance, if you would like to have a good playthrough where like every single reputation is met in the early game, so that like you're grinding reputation with everything around like an equal fashion, then you're gonna need to like do a lot of quests. You're gonna need to spend a lot of quests in both of the difficulties. Maybe not in normal, but at the very least elite. I would definitely suggest you to like complete an entire playthrough in there, so that like you get to meet every single faction, friendly faction of course, and start gaining reputation with them, so that it's not the first time that you get to meet them in Ultimate, and therefore you're going to be that much more closer to their rewards when it comes to at the very least when it comes to like augments for the gear. But what I have been doing is at this point I simply log out. I go into the ultimate difficulty, and this part right over here is giving you an incredible amount of experience boost, even though I am crashing. I don't necessarily know why this is happening to me. Please, do it like this. Alright, we're gonna need to wait for this to synchronize, otherwise, like I'm kind of messing around with my saves. So I was saying, like, I switched it to ultimate difficulty since like we use the Savior's Merit. Ultimate difficulty is open to us. We go there and we're about like level 16 or something. Don't mistaken, even though you're level 16, you're incredibly squishy obviously for ultimate difficulty. We can need to do something there. It is relatively easy, simply because like we're gonna need to do the first quest, which is right outside of Devil's Crossing. You save a guy to the left side, right before the waypoint. I'll be able to show you on my map a little bit better, hopefully. We have the tester. So switch to ultimates over here, start the game. So we're gonna have to like do just the beginning quest. What I like to do is that like, while I'm taking like experience potions, my mandates, and the Lokar set and whatnot with level 1 character from the Crucible, I like to, gather some stupid materials from my bank into my bags as well, so that like I have a lot of materials in my bags. Stuff like maybe Ancient Hearts, Blood of Chthons, Royal Jellies, maybe Bindings, maybe crystals, Aether crystals. Those are like required for a lot of devotion shrines. Maybe some components that I can utilize, stuff like Silk Watch, Anti-Venom Salve, so that I don't necessarily need to like go back to bank all the time while I'm leveling. These are like very small stuff to like stay in your bags, and now that like you have a massive bag, it doesn't necessarily matter that much. So we jump into the ultimate. We take this quest. and we're gonna make our way like all the way to the burial hill. You know, like the first quest is basically like enter the burial hill, the cave, and then like kill the monster in there. That is literally the only thing that you need to do. Some of the characters are a little bit better at doing this because, like, you know, some of the abilities are extremely strong. In this case, I would most likely, like, if I'm leveling a soldier, I would most likely go with this force wave. If you'd like to see, like, how I level up masteries, there are a lot of guys on my YouTube channel. Definitely check it out. But yeah, like you go to burial hill, you kill the dude inside, and then you come back. As you give that quest, and that was like the only dangerous part of this, it takes a while. Sometimes it takes about like 5 minutes, sometimes it takes about like 10 minutes, depends on the character a little bit and your weapon, obviously. But afterwards, it will give you about like 20 levels, this completion right over here. Obviously, don't forget to like use the experience potion once again. But the best part about this is that like after completing that quest, you'll be able to give a couple of like aether crystal to this guy. It will give you a couple of levels. You'll be able to like give you some scraps. You'll be able to give some scraps to this guy. It will give you a couple of levels. You'll be able to like access the other side of the prison. This guy over here will in fact give you a level 2 by just opening the gate for you. There's going to be the spirit guide that you can talk inside, and then there's also the dude that you have saved right before this waypoint on the left side inside the shack right over there, and he's going to be giving you, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 levels as well. So that is like an incredible start, and at this point you will be about like level 35 or something. Then I exit the game one more time. I go back to normal. Inside the normal, I don't care about like personally, as I'm saying this again, like this is not how it's supposed to be done. This is how I have been doing, and if you would like to, you could definitely do it that way too. Personally, when I come back over here, I'm about like level 35 or something. I start waypoint hopping, just hunting for the devotion shrines. Let's talk about the devotion shrines a little bit. Remember, you can easily find where they are, or um, which ones you're missing by clicking this checklist in Grim Tools. This is an amazing tool right over here. Shout out to Dammit one more time for creating this thing. Um, you have an entire list over here, and if you would like to have it sort of like a checklist side, you could load your character into this right over here, and it's going to be showing you which devotion shrines you are missing and which ones you have. So by using this in the normal difficulty, even if you don't necessarily know them by heart, by using this, you'll be able to like locate them easily and like gather as many devotion shrines as possible. I've been getting asked quite a lot of times, why am I not starting my game in Crucible and getting the extra devotion shrines? Well, simply because of this. Is kind of like not necessary at all anymore. Before, I was spending about like 30 minutes in Crucible at the start of the game, and it was only giving me about like 20 levels, I think, on top of that 8 devotion points. Now in about 30 minutes, I'm about like level 50. I'm not even kidding. Thanks to this start right over here. I could even be higher than that if I'm not hunting for devotions. If we just continue in the ultimate somehow, it would definitely be a lot more experience, of course. The only problem with that is that like gearing up is incredibly difficult there, because there's not enough gear. There's just so many levels, but there's no gear, so you're still staying around with like gray pens for like 40 levels. That's not acceptable. You're obviously getting your ass beat. Um, but yeah, that's just another discussion for sure. We can talk about like ultimate from level 1 at one point. I'm not necessarily a fan of it. So in normal difficulty, I collect like a lot of devotion shrines, as many as you can, and then from that moment, when I feel like it's enough, maybe 30 of them, maybe 35. When I feel like it's enough, I exit the game and I play the elite the normal way I would. So I do almost everything in elite. Now, if I am incredibly rushing, like I'm just min maxing everything. In elite, I also skip almost everything and go to ultimate. So whenever I feel like okay, I can take ultimate, I switch to ultimate as well from elite, just like we did in the normal difficulty. And if you would like to play this way, I'm actually going to be giving you a tip. That is, try to complete everything up until Cronley. this is gonna give you an incredible amounts of reputation with Devil's Crossing, and after that you can switch to Ultimate. So in Elite you do everything. So Act 1 and Act 2, you kill Cronley, return the quests, and then afterwards you switch to Ultimate if you would like to, of course. But my suggestion would be complete the Elite, simply because, again, meet the factions, get your reputation, you know, have like a good standing with every single faction, friendly faction at the very least, in the game, so that in Ultimate it's not going to be the first time you're meeting them. But again, if you're in a rush, you kill the Cronley, go to Ultimate, and the reason behind this is basically you're going to be getting a lot of reputation thanks to what you have done with Devil's Crossing in Elite. And in Ultimate, after completing the entire Act 1, you will be very close, if not already revered. That is gonna give you, and you're about like level 70 at this point, that's gonna give you the PS resistance, poison resistance, white hit resistance, augments for your gear. And at this point, you don't necessarily have any, so you start using those. And you know, if you were able to like fix your elemental resistances as well, the only thing that's literally at this point missing is your Aether and Chaos resistance. Now, for those, I use like, you know, Aether Soul and Black Tallow for the components, and on top of those, I start using potions. But this is, as I said, only if I am rushing, trying to get like an incredible timing. And that is what I have been doing on my Warlord recently. That's also why I wasn't able to like use the Lokar set for this video actually, because he's wearing it. But I think this Warlord is like level 84 and I'm like 4 hours into it, which is a very, very good timing, of course. And we're in Ultimate, we're in Homestead, so I almost skipped everything in Elite as well. After killing Cronley, just came to Ultimate difficulty. It's about like 4 hours, 13 minutes on this guy. And I'm pretty sure I slacked 10 minutes on it too because of the stream. In fact, this is going to be it. So, really hope this video was useful, you guys. Thanks for watching. And make sure to leave a like. I think your interaction with the video, like when it comes to the comments, when it comes to like likes, dislikes, it definitely likes helps supports the video. In YouTube for sure. When it comes to like suggestions and stuff, I have no idea how it works actually. I'm just making stuff up. Leave a like, and thank you very much for the 8,000 subscribers. I really hope I'm gonna live up to all the subs. I'll try and make more content. Well, there's a lot more Vitality Caster coming up your way. I'm really hoping this entire series is going to be as useful as the DK series was. That's one thing that I can tell easily. But this is just you know, mind blowing for me. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Peace out, YouTube. Have a good night.